Hello, Clay here from thejapanshop.com, thejapanesepage.com, and makotoplus.com. Today I have a quick tip for learning the meaning and pronunciation of kanji in one fell swoop. It's a very simple idea, but I think it can help all levels of learners. Do you know someone whose name is Ken or Joe? Or do you know anyone who has a name that sounds like a pronunciation of a kanji? Using mnemonics, as you know, is a powerful way to increase the efficiency of learning anything. But usually using mnemonics with kanji means that you learn just the parts of the kanji or the pronunciation or the meaning separately. With this tip, you can combine both the sound and the meaning. Take, for example, this kanji. It means to pull, and its main reading is ken. Well, we had a neighbor that we really loved, and his name was Mr. Ken. So whenever I see a kanji with a ken pronunciation, my mind immediately leaps to Mr. Ken. Now, for mnemonics to work best, you need to visualize it and make it as clear as possible in your head. And that's why using familiar people or objects or ideas or memories is a good way to make the mnemonics stick. While not historically correct, I think of the parts of this kanji as a hat, a string, and a cow. So when I see this kanji, I think of Mr. Ken. In my mind, I see him visually, and he's wearing a hat, and he's pulling a string. The string is attached to a cow which he is pulling. And you can see where I got my image from. But the key is I'm visualizing Mr. Ken pulling a string and pulling a cow. Now the middle section really isn't a string or thread, ito, but it's close enough for me to remember it. The meaning is to pull, and the pronunciation is Mr. Ken. And I see Mr. Ken wearing a hat and pulling a string attached to a cow. Now that's a pretty difficult kanji, and it's often written in kana anyway, but this technique can be used to learn any kanji. All you need are friends that have names that sound like the kanji readings. Now if you don't have any friends who are Joe or Ken or Dan, right? Think of a movie star or some similar sounding name and visualize them in your mnemonic story. That first example was a little difficult, so let's try a simpler kanji as an example. You probably recognize this as inu, dog, but a very common on reading of this kanji is, you guessed it, Mr. Ken. So in my mind, I imagine Mr. Ken leaning down and petting our dogs. That's actually how we met Mr. Ken. I was out walking the dogs, and this older gentleman who was working in his yard, he came over to say hello to my dogs. And in this example, all I have to do is just visualize Mr. Ken's smiling face, and then the two dogs, the happy faces of our terriers, and they are loving the attention. Ken, dog, it sticks. Now this is a simple tip, but next time you review your kanji, check the readings. See if there's someone in your life with a similar sounding name. If so, visualize a striking mnemonic. It will help make the meaning and the pronunciation stick. Now one last thing, I'll create a video about this later in more detail, but we just launched our new website, makotoplus.com. Please check it out. For just a few bucks a month, you can subscribe to our monthly e-zine and get exclusive lessons with sound several times a week. So check it out. Until next time.